everybody. Another Tuesday, and the snow's leaving fast. How was your guys' weekend? What'd you guys get up to?
We got up to, we had a little bit of a snowstorm on the weekend, literally. Had a little bit of fun, got out on a couple snow goose hunts. Birds are just really starting to move into southern Alberta, and got Chad out on a hunt with me, and we had a pretty good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd never done anything like that before. Ed gave me a call late on Saturday night. Ended up having to drive all throughout the night to get down to southern Alberta, and then met up with the guys from Dive Bomb Industries and a few other guiding outfits down there, and Ed himself, and got to shoot some snow geese for the first time. It's something I've never done before, but it was awesome. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, was it just clouds coming in, or are they not this far north yet?
We were in an area, Mitch, that the birds were moving in off a irrigation reservoir, and on Saturday night we got into a shoot, and there was a cold front coming in from the west, and that cold front came in just when the feed was starting.
Yeah.
And what it did is, one of the biggest challenges with snow geese is if it's really nice out, they tend to all come at the same time. But what they did is they did the old trickle effect on us for about 2.5 hours on Saturday night. And we took full advantage of that. And then on Sunday morning, it was a little tougher because we had nicer weather. So they were flying higher and everything. But when they came in, we took care of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's nicer when they come in those smaller batches. You don't have to do the flock shooting.
Yeah. And they just kept coming, and we kept responding to the call, and I kept telling, there was a couple of guys with us, and they go, "Oh, this is crazy," and I go, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you do this enough, you'll sit through enough of these hunts where it doesn't work. So when you have a night like this, remember it, because it's pretty glorious, and it doesn't happen like this all the time. But when it does, you better take advantage of it."
Yeah, steady action's awesome.
Yeah,
in anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, here to talk a little about Ena Lake Lodge. So if you can give us a bit of a rundown on it and what you have planned for this year.
Awesome. Well, we're well into the planning stages right now. A big part of running a remote lodge in northern Saskatchewan is pre-planning, and that's a big part of what we're doing in the months leading up to the season. We hope to get in there, knock on wood, hope to get in there the 1st of June. Last year, because of ice out and everything, we didn't get in till the 10th of June. And Mother Nature kind of dictates that for us. But when we do get in there, we're pretty excited about the season and what we've got coming ahead of us. We've got a new group of people that are going to be helping us out on the water, helping us out in the lodge. And what we do is we put a 5-star program together, right from the experience on the water to the experience in the lodge to the culinary experience. And that's something that we are pretty proud of. It's a pretty cool opportunity, and it's also a lot of planning. So that's what we're in right now, Mitch, is the planning stages. And Chad's working hard on putting a guide team together, and we're putting a hospitality team together. We've got some people returning, but we got some new people to add to the listing, and that's pretty cool. So I don't know what folks know about Ena Lake, but it's in northern Saskatchewan. Ena Lake, in fact, the north end of the lake, we portage into another lake that we call Taxi Lake, and then Taxi Lake, we go halfway up Taxi Lake, and half of Taxi is in Saskatchewan. The other half is in the Northwest Territories. So we're up there. We're right on the 60th parallel, and we are as remote as you can get. The only way you can get in is by aircraft, and the only way you can get out is by aircraft. I guess there would be opportunities in the wintertime overland and over lake and everything, but it's pretty rough and rugged country, and for that reason, it's pretty unique. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've seen pictures and people telling stories. It sounds like an amazing place. What can people expect in like a day in at Ena Lake Lodge? Like, when you start in the morning fishing, what's kind of the average day?
Well, the average day is pretty simple. Get up and have a great breakfast. We've got our executive chef, that Red Seal chef, that puts a breakfast together. All the guides will have all the gear ready. We supply all the gear. We have all the equipment. We have brand new Yamaha G3s with 40s on the back. They're all tillers. We're decked out with all the electronics we need. We run Scotty riggers, and we run top end gear, because sometimes you only get one crack at these fish, and you better take advantage of the opportunities. So we get everybody fed in the morning, get them out on the water by 8 o'clock at the latest. All our guides are ready to go. Boats are fueled, gear's all ready, and get out on the lake, fish all morning. And then we usually have a strategic location based on wind and where we're fishing for a shore lunch. And we put on a great shore lunch, and then hit the water again for the afternoon. And we're chasing Lakers and pike, whatever our clients want to chase after. And then we fish usually till about 5:30, come back to the lodge. At the lodge, we've got appetizers and everything ready. If you have a few cocktails, talk about the events of the day, and then have a fine dinner. After dinner, we go out to the campfire and have a few cocktails and talk about the day even more. And by the time the sun goes down, which is usually fairly late, people are pretty much tired and ready for a bit of a sleep, and do it all again for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, sounds like an amazing day. In some great fishing up north there. Like, if you're looking for amazing lake trout and pike, Grayling, there's no other places you could really think of going, because just the location is where those big fish will be, and it's so remote.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ena Lake's the only lodge establishment on this body of water. Like, you think of a northern lake, we're a little bit smaller than a lot of like the famous northern lakes up there, but we're still surrounded by Canadian Shield and vast wilderness, crazy northern lights when you get up there. And like you said, Ena is the only infrastructure on the lake itself, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, and I was looking at the structure of the lake, just because once I see a lake, I kind of have to look at I have to check it out. And there's so many good funnel points to fish where those big Lakers can be just stacked up. Like, late August, you can just dredge them off the bottom, kind of. And there's those perfect funnels that I find hold a lot of big fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're looking like lake trout are really seasonal, and you can start to pattern them out quite well, right? So like early season, when we get up there to the lodge, just like our pike or lake trout are looking for the warmest possible water, right? So inlets on bays, anywhere you can find sand or rock, and fairly shallow water, anywhere from 8 to 20 feet, where that water is going to warm up quickly, you're going to find your lake trout, because they're looking for that water temperature. As the season gets on and their ideal water temperature is more accessible around the lake, then you got to start looking for bait and looking for those funnel points, like you said, right? So we're dealing with Canadian Shield up there. So we're dealing with a ton of rocky points. We're dealing with a ton of islands that have sand flats and sandbars off of them. Main lake basins off of the bays that these lake trout were in earlier in the year. They just pop out of there and move into these swimways and these holes. So once you find these big pieces of structure it's important to note them for later in the year when that water temperature warms up and you can start to fish larger parts of the lake rather than just those shallow shoals and bays and such.
But you guys will continuously have like the yellowfins and shallower. I believe I saw some pictures from last year when Brad and TJ and were all up there. You had some yellowfins, which will be in that shallower water structure.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like it's later in the season when it gets warmer, they still will push up that trip. I'm not sure exactly the dates they went up there, Ed. I think you can clarify, but they
were latter part of June, so we were catching redfins latter part of June, and that was pretty consistent throughout the season.
Yeah. Totally. So shallow waters for them, but our lake trout are pelagic too, right? Like you can still find those yellow bellies and those redfins in deep water. But like you said, those fish that do stick shallower up here, they're kind of that smaller intermediate size, and you see more of those yellow and red fins and more colored up in shallower water for sure.
Yeah, amazing fly fish trophies right there.
Oh, absolutely. Finding rock islands or reefs and being able to cast to them and retrieve and catch them on the fly. It's difficult. You have to put your time in, and you have to be willing to work at it, and hopefully you can cast near a mile. But eventually, if you work for it, it'll definitely pay off. And if you can get one on the fly casting, I think that's pretty unique. That's definitely a pinnacle.
For sure.
That's one of the programs that we're really trying to promote. We're getting more and more interested in the fly fishing side of things, and that's what Chad is kind of working with his team to promote, that fly fishing aspect. And the other side of fly fishing is fly fishing for big pike is a lot of fun too. So there's both of those opportunities for those fly enthusiasts.
Yeah. Pike on the fly is amazing too.
Yeah.
Get some big bulldogs to just scream you.
But, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're talking about how many cabins do you guys and how many people can you accommodate on a trip?
Well, that's the unique thing about Ena is we're very small. What we accommodate right now is groups of 8 to 10. So it's very, very private, very, very small groups. Our goals down the road are to get up a little bit larger, but we're probably never going to be any larger than 14 to 16 people on the entire lake. And what we have is we've got Ena Lake with a number of portage lakes. There's 6 different portage lakes that we go into. And then we have flyout lakes, primarily up in the Northwest Territories. And we have access to 6 flyout lakes in addition to our Ena Lake. So there's a lot of fishing opportunity for very few people. And Chad mentioned that earlier. When you're out there, you're not going to see another person. The only people that you will see will be the people that are in your group. And when we're guiding, we try to take people to different parts of the lake, depending on what they want to fish for and what techniques they want to fish. And so you're not going to see many other people. We've got very nicely embellished cabins that are extremely comfortable and luxury at its best, in what I consider to be probably one of the more luxurious remote lodges that I've ever been to.
Is your accommodations all in a lodge, or do you have off cabins as well? Actually, I just got to dress up. Like Scott and Chris are wondering if it's fly-in or drive-in. It is a fly-in lake.
Yeah.
So
we're absolutely fly-in. Yeah, all the cabins are private cabins. We have one cabin that's 4-person occupancy, and the other 3 are double occupancy right now. In the works, we have plans to build a family cabin, which would be probably have adjoining doors like you have in hotel rooms where families can share the 2 rooms, or you can kind of split them off separately. So yeah, they're very nice, comfortable little cabins, heated, running water, showers, all the amenities that you don't often see in the north, and in particular you don't see in lodges this far north. So it is we're pretty spoiled up there.
For our fly out days, they're just day trips, so we don't have accommodations at our fly out lakes due to our tourism certificate. Like our lodge facility is kind of the only place we can house right now. Maybe into the future we can start to develop a little bit more infrastructure at some of these fly out lakes, but as of right now, it's just a fly in by plane. We have boats and equipment there, and then we bring the rest of the equipment we need with us to take clients into the 6 flyouts or the 6 portage lakes, whatever we end up doing.
We have our own beaver sitting at the end of the dock, and so when people want to fly out, that's exactly how we do it. We have a pilot in camp, and so not only does that help with a lot of our logistics as far as getting people where they need to be in fairly short order. Our furthest lake away is about 40 minutes. The shorter lakes are, 10 to 15 minutes, just a hop, skip, and away you go fishing. So it's a pretty cool opportunity. And we've got some lakes up there that, quite frankly, Chad and I are going to get into this year, and we might be the first human that's been on those lakes in a number of years. So, or ever, for that matter. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds like you probably won't get skunked then.
Well, that's why it's called fishing, not catching. But I think we're increasing our odds, and going into some of those lakes, it'll be pretty amazing just to see what size of Lakers and what size of pike we're able to hook onto.
Well, and just in terms of northern adventure too, I think that's the draw to a place like this is just like Ed said and alluded to, is these lakes really haven't seen anybody, and historically there's people traveling through here, but you start to get into these places and you start to imagine moments and how many people have like stood in this exact spot, how many people have actually seen what I'm seeing right now, how many people have been able to wet a line or even travel to a place like this, and for the adventure, for the person who's seeking that wilderness, that's what Ena's about, and that's what these flyout lakes and our whole setup kind of has to offer, which is really unique. It's not just about fishing, it's not just about a remote camp, it's truly like an experience from start to end, which makes it special.
We had a few nights last year, Mitch, that the Northern Lights, if I could have charged a price for admission just for the Northern Lights, I think I could have sold tickets just to come up for that show. It was incredibly impressive. And, that after a day of maybe catching your personal best lake trout, or getting into a back bay and catching pike cast after cast, it's pretty cool to just have that experience, and to experience that with friends or family. That's what it's all about, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Those Northern Lights are just crazy up north there. Like, it's just a show on itself. Like you said, you can charge for that, and I think people do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you get up into the NWT and further north, like Aurora viewing is a big part of the economy, and we have amazing access to it. And just so people are aware, if you don't already know, like the first half, 3/4 of our season, we're probably not going to be able to see Northern Lights. As we get further north, the sun just doesn't go down, it doesn't get dark enough to be able to see and view things like that, right? So if you want Northern Lights to be part of your experience, I'd start looking at trips from mid-August to end of September.
Yeah.
On that touch, Chad, on the summer solstice, that's our longest day of fishing. We fish right in the daylight, right till 11:30 at night, and then we come in. We have a beach barbecue, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I remember my dad, we have a cabin in the Yukon, and my dad telling me stories with his brother fishing till like 12 at night in the back bays on the Yukon River, just pounding pike still.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah. Last
hopefully, pardon?
Sorry, I was just going to talk to last summer working up in the NWT. We'd get off work, go fish all night. You look at your watch, it's 1 a.m. It's like, oh, geez, I guess we got to get back to bed and get to work the next day kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, when it's just dusk. That's as dark as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why the North Country's so amazing just to visit anyways.
Yeah, and
But-
we're working on an ecotourism program with the lodge. We have a lot of families that come up, Mitch, and so for those families, we have some very, very keen fishermen and fisher ladies, but we also have some people that, you know, they love the fishing, but after a couple days of it, they want something different. So we're developing a little bit of an ecotourism program. One of the most unique things that you can see up there is the Athabasca sand dunes, which is a short flight south of us. And we're just setting up programs where people can go down there and spend a day in the dunes. It's the largest moving desert in Canada. If not, I think North America. It's absolutely amazing. And when you fly over it on our way up to the lodge, it's just if you've never seen it before, you just go, wow, I never even knew that existed up here. And it's pretty spectacular. So
yeah, Kevin was asking about the Arctic grayling up there. You guys do Arctic grayling? And
we have some opportunities for Arctic grayling at some of our outpost lakes. And to be perfectly honest, we are on an exploratory mission to find the grayling. We're looking for some moving water, just to see what experience or what opportunities that we can find. And that's going to be one of our mandates this year, is to find some grayling waters. We don't have grayling on Ena Lake as such, but some of the other access lakes that we have now with our own plane at the lodge, we're going to do a little bit of exploring. And Chad has the dubious task of going out and doing some search and reconnaissance for grayling, and I quite frankly think he's up to the task.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, you look at the watersheds that are all connected from Lake Athabasca to Ena Lake, there are grayling in the watersheds. So I haven't been up there yet. This is going to be my first season heading up there. They're definitely going to be near moving water. They're going to be in lakes on rocky shores. So it's tough to say. They haven't found them yet by the sounds of it. But if they are in the watershed and we have access to a plane, we should start narrowing down some areas where we should be able to find grayling. It already sounds like there's a few rivers with some sets of rapids that are kind of on the radar that we have marked on maps already. So doing flyovers and seeing what we have access to, it is going to be pretty cool to be like, oh, that looks like a potentially fishy river, land a plane and hop out and fish it is kind of the idea and the task and the goal of this year. So it's really tough to say without anybody actually seeing or have caught a grayling yet, but there historically are grayling in the watershed, and hopefully with our resources we're able to find them. So
yeah, any moving water,
yeah,
you'll find them.
yeah,
Any bays, sandy bays have done good luck in the Yukon.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, Snafu Lake and stuff. There's just the bays at night. You could spot fish them just like whitefish, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. What do you guys run for lake trout gear? Are you what kind of style of fishing, or it just depends on the day?
It really depends on the day and the season and really what our clients' preferences are, right? Like if we have somebody who comes up who wants to be more active and cast in vertical jig all day. Well, that's what we're going to go do. We're going to go find reefs and points where we can cast at our lake trout, or we're going to go find deep pockets and holes where we can vertically jig and bounce around and be a little bit more active. If we're people maybe a little less experienced, not comfortable jigging or casting all day, well, then we're going to troll, right? Early season, we're going to troll shallow, anywhere from that 10 to 20 foot range. As our lakers start pushing deep, we'll use downriggers and just troll away down in deep lake basins and anywhere where those lake trout are feeding, right? Paired up with downriggers, inline weights, trolling gear, plus our electronics, find them and put a lure in front of their face and should be able to hook up, right? So again, it really depends on what your clients want. You don't want somebody to come up who wants to fly fish and catch a lake trout on a fly to then be trolling or jigging a couple ounces of weight, right? So it's really going to be tailored, and that's part of my job and Ed's job as clients come into the lodge to really understand the needs of everybody and what they want to accomplish out of that trip. If they just want to catch fish, great. I'll put them with a guy who's on top of something, who's on a good pattern, and they'll just go out and do it. Or if a guy wants to, like you said, catch fish on the fly or do something really specific, then we'll tailor the needs with the guides and the skill sets that we have to the clients that we have up at the lodge.
For sure.
One of my favorite things with especially newer clients to the game is it's the same techniques that you use when you're looking for walleye, and you troll around at the proper depths and try to find fish. Once you start marking, then you concentrate on those marks, and that's when you start dropping jigs down, and then you get a really nice combination. But as Chad says, we try to gear it to what people like to do and give them the best possible experience that we can.
Yeah, for sure. Do you find if you're just targeting the bigger fish? I know for myself, there's lots of people that don't want to do that because they only go for maybe 3 to 5 fish a day just because they're looking for that whale. I'm assuming you'll accommodate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like honestly, I find a lot of the time people have an idea of what they want to do, or like you said, they want to go catch that whale, they want to do it. They do it for about an hour or two, and then they kind of get antsy without catching fish, right? And so as a guide and being in the boat, that's part of that skill set to be able to read your client and actually match energy and change things on the fly, right? Like if you brought yourself up, like, man, we're going to sit in a hole all day, we're not moving with the biggest baits possible because you know the game, and there are hardcore fishermen that are going to come up and want exactly that, right? There's going to be people who say they want that and then get bored and want to go catch some fish. You're going to have to change it up. Or there's going to be people who don't really care and they're going to want the whole experience, right? They're going to want variety. They're going to want to change things up. They're not going to want to stay anywhere for too long, even if they're catching fish or not. They're just happy to see the entire lake and do different things. But yeah, absolutely. Like if there's guys who are really dedicated and want to try and get that one bite, and they're okay if they don't get that one bite, then there's definitely things that can be done, trying to use those big baits, trying to target locations that are in vast areas of water that those bigger fish are gonna be in, right? That being said, I've seen some of the biggest lake trout, any kind of species, caught on some pretty small stuff too, right? So it's one of those things of just how people want to fish and narrowing the odds. Like fishing a very, very large bait over deep water, if you get that bite, well, it's a good chance you could be getting into something bigger, right? Like something smaller isn't going to try to put its yap on that, but large fish eat small prey too, right? So by catching more frequency of fish and putting your lure in front of more fish's face, maybe there's better odds. It's kind of tough to say. I don't think there's any perfect algorithm for that. but definitely if guys are into it, then we can definitely target and do a couple things to try to increase those chances anyways, right?
Yeah, and the big thing there is we've had success both ways on big fish. Like we had 44, 45, 46-inch Lakers caught last year trolling and bottom jigging, but traditionally that jigging and getting down to where those big fish are hanging out, it takes more time, it takes more effort, but typically the results are big fish.
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to touch on about the lodge?
No, just thank you for the opportunity to talk about it, and that it helps both Chad and I. We're getting pretty anxious to get up there, so having this conversation gets us thinking about getting up to the lodge. So we sure appreciate you inviting us. And if anybody has any questions, we're pretty easy to get a hold of. Ed@enalake.com or Chad@enalake.com. Drop us a line if you have any questions. We do have some openings for this year. We're still waiting to deal with some border issues. We've got some bookings, but because of vaccinations and things, we might have some openings for this year. We're already booking for 2023. And if anybody has any interest, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We'd be more than happy to fill you in on the details.
Awesome. So do you guys have, besides goose hunting, any other hunting plans this spring?
Oh, thanks, David. There's always plans, but executing and getting time off and figuring stuff out. Right now, latter half of April into the first 2 weeks of May, I think we're myself and good buddy down from Calgary, we do some work with Uncharted Exposure and 7R, are going to try to chase some spring bear in the Rocky Mountains, spend a couple of weekends glassing in the foothills and seeing if we can find any bears pop up. We've also talked, and we kind of mentioned it earlier with you there, Mitch, but turkey's kind of been popping up in our radar over in BC, and never done anything like that before, but it just seems so interesting, so fun to go hunt. So whether it be a combo bass and turkey trip or something like that, right around my birthday on the 25th, there might be in the books, but we'll kind of have to see.
I'm going to finish out the goose season. I love my bird hunting, but as soon as somebody mentions the word turkey, I'm all in. So twist my rubber arm.
Yeah, no. With I know the Turkey Foundation last year put in for it to go to, you need a guide to go turkey hunting in BC. So kind of running out of time on buying those over-the-counter tags, I think, over the next couple of years, if that proposal gets passed soon. So
yeah, that's how I did it the last time I went. Was it was just over the counter, which and if you get in the right area, there's lots of turkey over there. It's pretty. It's there's a lot of opportunity. The other opportunity that I'm also looking at is just going south of the border. I've got a lot of friends in Montana, and there's some good turkey hunting down there. While I'm waiting to get drawn in Alberta, I was drawn 4 years ago, so it's probably going to be another 9 years before I get drawn here.
yeah, at least.
On top of that, we're up in Ena. We're obviously in northern Saskatchewan. We're trying to get in there June 1st. We're also at Ena Lake Lodge. We're allotted 14 bear tags this season. So right now we're trying to, between construction, training guides, and opening up our season, we're trying to maybe do planning to get 1 or 2 bears on the ground up there to start opening that up as an opportunity into the future for guests to come in and possibly have access to some world-class bear opportunities in northern Saskatchewan. So that's something that we're pushing for and working on, and we've got a couple partners lined up who are at least somewhat interested in joining us for that opportunity. So we'll see how that plays out as well.
Yeah, so that's great that you mentioned that, Chad, because we have the spring bear opportunities. We also have fall moose opportunities. So those are just some of the things that we want to grow with the whole Ena Lake program. My dream down the road is to run expeditions in the middle of the winter and go up there and ice fish for Lakers and do that northern experience under the northern lights and everything. So it's a work in progress, and Chad and I are going to have a little fun building this monster.
Yeah, no, sounds amazing. I didn't think you guys had any hunting opportunities, but things are looking up, it sounds like, for that aspect of it.
Yeah, we currently have 14 bear tags, and there's opportunity for more.
Do you just is your lodge on an island or is it on the shore?
It is, yes, it is on an island.
Yeah.
And the historic bear hunting was primarily around the lake. Last year I took a dozen trail cams up. I went to the historic bait stations that were on that lake.
Yeah.
And there are some pretty impressive critters moving around.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Have you had any I was in Northern Saskatchewan last year and heard there was like tundra grizzlies. Have you ever seen one around there?
No, we have not.
No.
We had a few bears swim across to our island to visit us, but black bear is a lot easier to manage than a grizzly. So
definitely. Yeah, no, you can run off a black bear.
Yeah.
I don't like chasing grizzlies that much.
No, not a hobby of mine.
No, they kind of got that look that they don't care if you come at them; they're just going to come at you.
Yeah. Yeah, some people with this beard call me Grizzly Hawk. I don't compare in fierceness compared to one of those things.
No, everyone I've ever ran into, they know you're there, but they just keep doing what they're doing because they know who's the king of the jungle out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At least the black bear will get kind of nervous.
Yeah. Actually, Chad and I are, for that reason, just because we have guests in the camp and everything, one thing that bears absolutely detest is dogs. So we've got a couple of dogs up at the camp, and I'm going to spend the summer training my dog for waterfowl season, and Chad is going to spend his summer doing some training for antler chasing, right, Chad?
Yeah, I got a little mutt that we're gonna try and get retrieving some sheds or some ducks at some point, chase some bears off. So we'll see. We'll see if she's up to it.
Yeah. What kind of dog you got?
We call them Northern Specials. I adopted her when I was up in the Northern Territories, so we don't really know what she is. I think our latest guess is just based off some photos we just recently saw is actually Greyhound and Lab.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's an interesting little critter. We thought she was a shepherd lab for a while, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't care to get her DNA tested, but she's a sweet pup and she's good outside. So loves chasing grouse around thus far. So see what else she can get up to.
Yeah.
And Mitch being a duck man, I have a black lab.
Yeah, well, you'd have to. See, I got a mutt too, but she's my pointer. We do a lot of pheasant hunting. My dad's got 2 Llewellyn setters and it's part of NABDA. So,
oh, cool.
His dog kind of trained my dog, and she picked it up super good. So I really didn't have to work with her at all. She just learned from my dad's dog, and pheasant hunting's an amazing thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Especially with the right dog. Hey, like that's special. You didn't need to spend the money on a world-class dog. You just got lucky. Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah. A Weimaraner cross that doesn't look like a Weimaraner. It looks more like a English pointer, but she's an amazing Amazing dog. My dad always calls it an HP hound and tells all the guys at NABDA about there. And then finally one day they had to ask, what kind of breed is an HP hound? The Mississippi Mud Dog.
I'll tell you what, Mitch, I spent a lot of years doing the bird guiding game, and a good dog can turn a okay hunt into a great hunt.
Oh, yeah.
And it can turn a great hunt into a spectacular hunt, because just having the doggage and having the points. And I used a combination of flusher and pointer combination.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to be the flusher, I didn't want to be the one going in when you've got a bunch of paying clients. So I used a combination, and it was deadly, because those I had labs that would honor the points, and I literally had pointers that would honor the retrieves. So it's pretty cool, and it makes for a great experience, and turns a great hunt into a spectacular hunt.
Oh yeah, working with dogs is amazing. Like, my dad's dogs are much more well trained than mine, so when they go on point, they stay on point. Yeah. Mine will go on point, but if that bird moves, it's gonna pick that bird up. then it has to be the first one there to get it, which is okay with my dad's dog, because they don't really like feathers in the mouth. They're force fetch trained, and they don't like the water as much, but they work good together. So 3 dogs on a pheasant hunt is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's awesome. But you'll have to come down and visit us next fall.
Oh, definitely. Get on some wild birds.
Yeah. Might know where there's 1 or 2.
Yeah. The one thing my dog hates is ducks. Oh my God. We did a pheasant hunt at Bigelow, south of Pine Lake. There's a release site there.
Yeah.
And we did our pheasant hunt, got our pheasants. Then there was a bunch of mallards set up on this field. So we kind of snuck in. We kind of thought they're going to go right over through that area. And we set up kind of good and hidden. And sure enough, they blow over us when they come back to the water. And like a sucker, I flock shot that. And then my buddy pops one, goes down. There's probably 5 feet of ice out. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got that one. I was like, okay, yeah. Stormy the dog runs in, grabs it, then drops it. And goes back out, probably like 60 yards out there. Goes, grabs it by just the tip of the feet. Just like barely with just because he hates those oily ducks. In the end, he had to strip down to his boxers and walk out there and get it. As Stormy went out swimming around him.
That's why I have a lab.
Yeah.
Never have to worry about that. You should hear the story. Sunday, Chad, I took him on his first jump shoot. Chad, you got to tell that one.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's pretty ridiculous. We get done our morning shoot, so we're just driving around and we're talking about future opportunities and different areas to hunt and different management areas and stuff. So this great like source of knowledge, and we head to this pond that's Ed's hunting hole, and he's like, hey, you got to check this place out. This is a wicked area. Like this is like home. Like awesome, super excited to see it. He's like, yeah, we drive up to it and water's open. He's like, it's super weird. Like there was a ton of geese on this last night. Like why aren't they here right now? And we come around a little corner and there's thousands of geese just standing in the road and standing on a little hump of a hill. And we're like,
right on the prairie.
Just super odd for them to be there at that time, right? So we back the truck up. Ed calls the farmer down the road and, hey, there's a bunch of geese right on top of this knoll, right on top of the prairie. Like, you mind if we have a shot? And he's like, yeah, we're outside. We're gonna watch you guys try to creep up on these things. And he's like, there's a little hill there. If you get behind it, you should be able to pop up on them. We're like, okay, perfect. And so we're loading up and kind of getting ready and talking about a plan. And a truck rips up right behind us, and we're like, oh man, like, he's gonna drive right through this huge flock that we have set up waiting for us. And he ends up stopping, and of course Ed walks over and knows the guys of course, and tells the guys like, hey, get your guns ready, like we're about to do this jump shoot, like we need more guns, we need more guys. And so they're all hyped up, and we do our best to army crawl and kneel and crawl behind this knoll. We're stomping in mud and over this hill, and we finally get all lined up, and we can hear them kind of chattering away, but we don't really know what we're about to look at. We don't know how far they are. We don't know whatever. And we're behind this military style bunker almost of a hill. And we all look at each other, give each other the nod, and creep up over this hill. And like all of our eyes just popped like dinner plates. It was like thousands of geese that are 15 yards from us. So we each get a couple of shots off within 20-30 seconds of chaos and put a few birds on the ground. So that was I've heard of jump shoots. Like I've even thought about doing it like when I was up in the north, but never thought it was honestly one of the funnest things I've ever done. It was just a couple seconds of pure chaos that we kind of stumbled upon. So it was it was definitely interesting.
We got a bunch of birds on the ground, and I think Chad was thinking, well, why do we put all those decoys out if we could just do this all day?
Just find the flocks and do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just like puddle jumping.
Yeah, you bet.
Do you move up with the birds as they come up, Ed, or do you just kind of stay in your area?
I do not. Back in the day, I was in the waterfowl guiding business, and I would have been moving up with them.
Yeah.
Now I'm not. I take advantage of them. I have a kind of a policy is I only shoot things that are really close. I'm not into the travel. Chad traveled all night and never slept to come and shoot a snow goose. That is not in my vocabulary. I don't do that. He's young and he's keen, and I'm the old guy.
The wise one.
Let's walk over there and shoot one of those geese, and he's the one that let's run over there and shoot them all type of thing. So that's the gig that we got going on. But there are guys that follow them up. Snow goose hunting is it's a game, because when it happens, it's glorious. But there's a lot of times that there's a lot of eyes. Like there's 30,000 birds in a flock. That's 60,000 eyes watching you, and you better have your act together, and you better be in the right place. Yeah,
I've had the opportunity to just go a couple times. We always went with First Flight there, Andrew.
Yep.
He's a real good guy. Had some great shoots with him. But
yeah, he's moving up the flyweight. Lots of guys are moving up the flyweight, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
For sure. Once you get new spotters and everything, it's just but fun. It is a fun hunt.
There's no question.
Yeah, I'm itching to get back at it already.
Yeah, Chad, you're gonna go chase some spring bear up on the hills.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
You're gonna go around Crow's Nest, or more towards the trunk road?
Yeah, well, we've got a few areas right now that we want to check out. We've got a couple areas with permission down in Pincher Creek on a large ranch that a buddy has access to. So that's kind of where we were checking last year. Not as big a population down there, but there's definitely some decent bears. And Crow's Nest area, head towards kind of Panther area, like anywhere you're finding these, the Clearwater area, like anywhere you're finding like large chutes and trunk roads that you can access, right? We also got some intel and some buddies up near Hinton that shot a nice bear a few years ago that's interested to get out. So we'll see how many days we can kind of string together and put together. And we don't have a for sure plan yet, but we've definitely got some kind of floating options right now.
Yeah, the Hinton, we used to moose hunt in Hinton quite a bit, archery, and there's a ton of bears up there.
Yeah, totally.
It was always good spot and stocks if you wanted one, but it seems like around Nordegg and stuff, more grizzlies pushing them out.
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
Hopefully-
the grizzly numbers have sure responded. That's what
No.
I'm hearing. Anyway.
It's crazy. It's been crazy for a while. Even the COs will tell you.
Yeah.
In certain areas, like there's this many grizzlies here. And it's like, well, why aren't we doing anything about it? Well, politicians don't want to do anything about it because they don't want to lose a politician race.
Yeah, it's one of those things that this gets into like an interesting conversation, but a species goes on an endangered species list for a reason. Population rebounds, and like you said, politics and feelings get involved, and then animals don't get taken off that endangered species list, and populations then grow, bounce back, and then all of a sudden are becoming unhealthy again because they've exceeded their carrying capacity and don't have the prey, and then are making that ecosystem weaker, like via more of them, less prey, everything like that, right? So it definitely gets to be a tough conversation, especially with people who don't understand that endangered species list is not a it's not a closed captured list that once you're on it, all of a sudden you're just on it, right? Like people need to start realizing there needs to be more press and information about, well, these species are actually rebounding and actually exceeding their carrying capacity of the areas that they're living in, right? So yeah, that's an interesting issue.
Yeah, I think within the next few years we'll see something, either a lottery draw or something, but I think they need more than that. Like Crow's Nest is crazy, out west is crazy. You're relocating all these problem grizzly bears in the same areas like Chungo and all those other places. They're moving, they're territorial, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's been shown time and time again that relo really doesn't work on bears. They either they find their way back within a season and or then you're competing with other bears, and it for lots of reasons it doesn't typically work. So
I hope they get it figured out because there's a lot of ranchers that know the problems.
oh, for sure. I know, like my Aaron's uncle, out by Caroline, the grizzly damage they're just doing on the crops coming in.
Yeah.
Like he had the insurance guy out and you could see the trails going into the crops. And it's like, well, you want to get out and look? Because they could see the grizzly sitting there. He's like, nope, I'm fine. Are you sure? But yeah, no, the population's been booming. I think those first numbers they went off of when they went on the endangered list was not correct, because all of a sudden it doubled and tripled, and now they're not even acknowledging numbers, I don't think.
yeah.
It's just overpopulated, and you're seeing it in the elk and the moose and the deer, just the repopulation, and Yaha, Tinda, and a bunch of other areas. They're winter grounds. The calves aren't making it because those grizzlies are becoming experts on just taking out calves.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. What? How many bears were tagged in the Yaha?
They collared 27
Wow. Or
grizzlies.
Yeah.
The 27th they couldn't get the collar on. And
Oh.
yeah, by the sounds of it, the calf population didn't do well, just because there's just so many, and they're just becoming experts in taking them out now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they're the alpha predators. So
yeah, each year it's that elk population is going down tremendously. And soon, like right now, I think a priority 17 you could go draw.
Yeah.
Someone had 20 last year, and it's just gonna get worse. But I'm right on the edge, so hopefully I get it this year before it goes bad. Before they're all done and they have to rethink how they're gonna save all the regulations and whatnot for those areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we have last month we had 4 winners for a Dakota lithium battery and Lexi lures. I think I'll just message them because I don't think they're all on here tonight. So I'll message them. I'll get after the show. You guys can pick a number together. Then I'll write it down. Then I'll send them a message and they can pick a number. Whoever's right will get that prize package. And I'll show you, well, you guys will know the number and I'll write it down. So there's no tomfoolery anyways. And next month we'll have, this month we'll have another giveaway. We got some stuff we can't talk about yet because it's just in the works and it's pretty exciting. And we have another prize package getting added to that. So if you guys can pick a hard to find emoji, each of you, and just tell me what it is, or just tell them what it is, then whoever posts the two emojis together will get entered for next month's prize.
A hard to find emoji. And you want us to tell you?
Yeah, you can say it right out loud right now.
Oh man. All right, let's go.
Dollar signs and dollar tongue emoji.
Dollar signs and dollar tongue.
I'm gonna go the tooth emoji.
A tooth emoji.
Tooth.
When have you ever used that one?
That's a good question. I'm just looking at my emoji. You said make it hard to find, so
That is hard. I didn't even know there was one.
I didn't either until right now. So.
Oh. Kevin's got a cash, but no tooth.
I do the easier one if that. Maybe that's not on everybody's keyboard.
No, Kevin found a tooth too.
Oh, there you go.
Kevin will get entered for that prize package. A hard to find emoji. You know. So, what do you guys got planned for this weekend?
Oh.
I'm gonna look for snow geese.
We knew that, Ed. That's all you do. All the pictures you send me is just snow goosing.
Well, that's what happens in snow goose season. When it's duck season, I'll send you duck pictures, and when it's whitetail season, I'll send you whitetail pictures. And that's just the way it goes.
And I'm sitting at work. Chad?
If I get invited down, I might join Ed on another snow goose hunt. But there's also some creeks that have opened up down here in Alberta that might start getting the flies out for this weekend. So we'll kind of keep that open. There's some stuff that's open that hasn't been open this early for a while, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
there's a lot of rivers and creeks out west. I saw on Sunday. I went for a drive, and lots of people out though.
Yeah,
there's a few bulls getting caught, browns and stuff, but the water temperature is still pretty low, so they're not super active yet. But
no, warm weather will be the key at this time of the year.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday's looking
nice. It's going to get warm.
Thursday's
20 degrees or something.
Yeah. 19.
Hopefully it gets warm and the wind goes down here. It's been blowing for 2 days pretty good.
Yeah. Well, where can everybody, I know we talked about this earlier, but where can everybody find you for information on Ena or just watch your social?
Yeah. ENALake.com is the website, or if you want to get a hold of Chad or myself, Chad at ENALake.com or Ed at ENALake.com.
Yeah, in terms of socials as well, follow Ena Lake Lodge on social media. On Instagram, we have a Facebook page, hopefully a YouTube page coming up in the future, as well as my personal Instagram, Guide Chronicles, or you can just find me at Chad Bullock as well.
Right on, guys. You can find me here every Tuesday, and Northwest Adventures pages and Alberta Fishing Trips. Stay on. We'll talk after. And everyone else, have a great week. Get out this weekend, have fun, get outdoors, and enjoy it. Till Tuesday. We'll see you then.